reaction video to a very special podcast about the Project 1 Million in 1 year blueprint playbook, which in my case is falling apart because I'm using so much. I need to order myself another copy, the new edition. This is the old edition. But oh my goodness, I am so excited because today one of our students, the amazing David, sent me a podcast and I was listening to it and it was just like, this is so interesting. I love the topic. It's like also to do with Project 1 Million. And I was like, it's a podcast about the book. I was just like, that's so cool. So we're going to listen to a bit of it today. And I want to ask you guys if you have any idea who these people are that are talking about the book. And let us know in the chat box. Obviously, we are here with both Josie and me. And Josie and I are going to have some reaction. We're going to pause and play. And it's actually really, really cool. And yeah, let's hit the intro, shall we? Let's go, guys. All right. So, Josie, are you excited to listen to the podcast?
I'm so excited. I'm first of all very honored that we have a podcast about our book. So let's get into it.
Yeah, and it's so nice. I was so inspired. I was listening to it today when I was walking with Goku, and I was just like, oh, this is awesome. So a big shout out and thank you to David for sending it to me. But also, we just finished a Project 1 Million in 1 year. So Josie, what if people want to come to the next one, the final one this year? What should they do?
You should definitely, first of all, want to be there because it will be the biggest one of the year, the best one. And you should make your way to the description. Somewhere around this video will be a link for you to join for free, by the way, which is insane for our last Project 1 Million in 1 year. It's going to be amazing. And we want you there, whether you've been there before or you haven't, we want you there.
Yes, absolutely. I'm just getting the link in here right now. So Project 1 Million in 1 year.com/Josie. And also, as always, if you are new to the podcast, the Free Lifestyle Podcast by Josie and me, then don't comment. Well, you can comment. But then subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you are hitting the bell. If you like today's video or any of our videos, then by all means feel free to also like it. And I think that's all the announcements for us to make. So without any further ado, let's just listen. I'm very excited. Yeah. I do want to go and check to make sure that the sound is actually coming through correctly. So let me go and press play. And then we'll do a check.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into the 1 Million in 1 Year Blueprint Playbook. Now, yeah, the title sounds very much like pure financial strategy, right? But what we found stacking up the sources is that this thing is, well, it's really a powerful roadmap for building.
Oh, I can't hear it anymore.
It's much less about the how-to structures and far more about mastering your own internal state. What you, the listener, want is knowledge you can use quickly and thoroughly. And this playbook, it gives you these specific actionable ways to shift your mindset. That's the foundation. So our mission today is basically extracting that blueprint for, unshakable mental strength.
And the whole journey is laid out across a pre-training bit and then 5 specific days. You've got vision and energy, money shift, business shift, and so on. But here's the interesting part. Before day 1 even starts, you have to commit. Really commit. Attending live, sharing your AHA moments, doing the homework.
Yeah, it's intense participation right from the get-go.
Sharing your AHA moments. So that's actually one thing. I don't know if everybody knows, but they're referring to the aha moments.
Yeah.
I just had to laugh so much when they were saying like the AHA moments. So I just had to pause it there to just let
aha moment.
A couple of times as well. So let's carry on.
It sets up resilience as like something you do, not something you just passively get.
It definitely weeds people out, I imagine.
For sure. And the blueprint points out correctly, I think, that the very first thing to tackle is understanding where resistance comes from. It starts kind of externally. It asks you to think about society, the government, schools, your environment. Is it all, setting us up for not succeeding? It acknowledges those potential external factors.
But then it pivots pretty quickly, right, to the internal stuff.
Immediately. Yeah. To the biggest obstacle you'll ever face.
Which is?
That internal saboteur, the little voice.
Yes, the voice that wants to keep you comfy
Yeah,
and small.
exactly. It's like the border guard for your comfort zone, always whispering the what ifs and the you can'ts.
So how do you deal with that? Because that voice, that fear, it can be genuinely paralyzing for a lot of us.
Well, this is where the playbook gets really practical about building resilience. It doesn't say ignore the voice because let's be honest, you can't. Instead, it tells you to systematically defuse its power.
Okay, diffuse its power. How exactly does that work?
You face it directly. There's this mental exercise.
Yeah.
You're told to visit rock bottom in your mind.
Visit rock bottom. Wow. Okay.
You literally imagine the absolute worst possible outcome if you go for your dream. Failure, embarrassment, losing everything. You really look at it. And the realization, often when you truly dissect it is not that bad.
Yeah.
So you define the monster and it shrinks.
Pretty much. Fear works best when it's this vague, shadowy threat. Turn the lights on, analyze the actual worst case, and suddenly that little voice doesn't have the same grip. It loses its control. Then you can, like the playbook says, let it sit in the back seat. You're driving now.
That makes sense. It's about taking back control from that automatic fear response.
Exactly. And it ties right into this quote from the material. The minority of this world is living a freedom lifestyle because only the minority is willing to do whatever good it takes. That whatever good it takes. It starts right there with managing that inner resistance.
Okay, so dealing with the inner voice is step one. What's next? Because another huge mental block is, well, failure.
Right. Most people see failure as the end.
Yeah.
Like game over.
Yeah.
But the blueprint completely flips that script. And this is absolutely critical for building long-term resilience.
How do you reframe it?
It says point blank, failure as you know it does not exist.
Wow. Okay.
It is just testing. And that is the success. That's the core mindset shift. Think about it. If you're aiming for something big, something new, you have to test things. There's no guaranteed path. So every action, every attempt, it's just a test, gathering data. Resilience then is just the willingness to run the next test right after the last one didn't give you the result you wanted.
It turns failure into feedback, a stepping stone, like the outline said.
Precisely.
I
Each
just
failure.
wanna pause it there because I really like also the way how they are describing it with, you turn failure into feedback. And obviously we don't necessarily say it in that way, but I just thought, like some of the ways of how they explain it is really nice, and I like it a lot. Thank you so much, guys, for commenting. Like I love it too. it's so cool. And also I was trying to actually find the right pages. But my whole book is in shambles. So I'm trying to find the right pages to show you, like, what are they currently talking about. So I'm trying to do that as we're listening. But also, Josie, at any given time, if you have a point that you want to make, let me know, and then I'll pause it. We'll be able to discuss it. But yeah, my book is...
Yeah.
That's a good thing. We use it a lot.
Yeah, no, every month. I love how much of a grasp they have on actually what we do and what we teach, and I love how they're spitting it back out. So yeah, this is so cool so far.
Cool.
Really,
let's carry on.
Stepping stone, like the outline said.
Precisely. Each failure creates a stepping stone towards success. And this naturally means you have to actively push past that comfort zone we mentioned earlier.
Because the good stuff is always just outside it.
Always. And to make sure you actually do that consistently, the sources give you these action affirmations. They're designed to rewire how you behave.
Are these just like positive thinking things?
Not really just feel good stuff. They're more like declarations, commitments to action. Things like, I will get out of my comfort zone, or I am an action taker, and I will take action with conviction. You're basically programming your mind to expect resistance and to push through it anyway.
Okay, so you're building the habit of pushing through. This connects to what they call the momentum curve, right? Can you maybe explain that a bit? It sounds visual.
Yeah, it is. Imagine you're trying to push a really heavy boulder, like uphill. Yeah. At the very start, you're in what they call the resistance zone. It's maximum effort, right? You're pushing, sweating, but the boulder, it's barely moving. You feel all the friction, the doubt, the early tests might not work. That's where most people stop.
They give up because it feels too hard and the results aren't showing yet.
Exactly. But the promise in the blueprint is if you just show up and keep going,
then the curve shifts
dramatically. You push through that initial high effort, low result phase, and suddenly success starts building. It becomes exponential. It's like the boulder reaches the top of the hill and starts rolling down the other side.
I love how they
That's
say
the
that.
success
I
zone.
say something on
The million
this.
is basically
Yeah.
having the guts and the persistence to keep put.
Yeah, go ahead.
I
I'm looking
th-
at in-
you're trying to find the book. This is one of my favorite concepts too. What they're speaking about there is, yeah, it's so true. That's one of my favorite concepts that we share during the event is the beginning is always the hardest part. They use the example of pushing a boulder, right? To initially get it to start rolling, that's the hardest part. Once it's rolling, it's rolling. Seb from the team uses a really nice example of a plane. When you're on a plane, it has to run, and then it flies. Once it's in the air, that doesn't take as much energy. What takes a lot of the energy for the plane is to get off the ground in the air. And it's the same exact thing in business or when you're doing your doings. To start initially, it's gonna feel hard. It's gonna feel maybe like it's not worth or it's not working. But if you just keep going, that's when most people quit. Just keep going. It does get easier.
Yeah, it really does. Because also in the beginning, the resistance is the highest, but that's gonna die down. So you're like too many people. They kind of perish in this what we call resistance zone, because it's just like it seems like the resistance is so much, but the successes seem so almost too small to notice. But if you just keep going, then the resistance is gonna fade out, and then the successes are gonna keep, building exponentially. So yeah, no, I like that as well. And I love what you mentioned too about the plane and what Seth says. So
yeah.
and oh, sorry.
I like no, very, very quickly, you just reminded me of something else too.
Yeah.
I think too many people want to jump over that zone and just go to the successes. But actually, it's like a rite of passage. By going through that little rut,
Amen.
you have that, and you have that story, and you've been there, done that, and now when you get to the successful zone, it's so much better. It's so much better. So it's a rite of passage. Yeah.
Exactly, because it is exactly that, because you're building your character so that you are actually ready for accepting like all of those winnings, because in the beginning, like, you're not ready for it. That's also why there's so many people, they are no, maybe not so many people, but so many stories of people that have won the lottery and then they lose it all in the shortest space of time, because they didn't actually had to, build their character, build the resilience. They didn't make that money themselves, so they don't also know how to then, now that they have received it, how to deal with it and to actually be able to keep it and let alone multiply it. So that's exactly why it's so important that you actually go through those steps yourself, because then once you get it, you appreciate it more, you know what to do with it, you've worked hard for it. So you're not just going to blow all of the money, but you're actually going to be able to utilize it in a smart way, because you're not just going to carry on in the way that you have been, which got you to build that result. So yeah, love that very much. Let's carry on listening.
The momentum is coming.
That's a great analogy. And it links nicely to the learning process they described too, right? The EHA.
And it provides the why behind that persistence. EHA, that stands for headache. It's the initial confusion, the struggle, like, how does this work?
So this is where I was laughing so much, because they interpret our aha moments differently and they give it a different meaning, and I loved it so much. But it also kind of makes sense the way how they say it. So I want to say a big thank you for the way how they interpreted it. But it's I'm just looking for the darn page. This is also, by the way, this is an example of progress over perfection, and that we are definitely not perfect because my book has fallen. But what they are referring to is that initial bit about like the aha moment, reha moment, and then so or just get my mic out of the way. So over here, where we basically say, so learning happens in stages. First, you have we actually interpret the other way around. So you have the aha, then you have the reha, so you learn something on an even deeper level, and then once you really get it, because you're actually implementing it and it kind of clicks for you because you're starting to see the results, then we call that a hiha. It was Emily Zucker. A big shout out to you. She's the one who came up with the reha and the hiha, because we started to have people, they came to the event more than once, and first they learned some stuff, but then they came again, and then an aha, which was like aha moment, became a reha, so they learned it like again or learned it better, but it's just like,
Deeper.
yeah, it reminded them of it. They understood it before, but now it's like deeper, like you say. And then the he-has, where you're actually like, oh my God, I see that. But they interpret that so differently. Let's listen, carry on listening. It's just so funny.
It's the initial confusion behind needing that persistence. EHA. That stands for headache. It's the initial confusion, the struggle, like, how does this work? We've all been there.
Oh, yeah. Then comes REHA. That's realization ache. You start to figure things out from your tests. You see what works and what doesn't, but it still kind of hurts because maybe you realize you wasted time or you were wrong about something.
Okay, so headache, realization ache, and
finally, AHA, the breakthrough, the moment it clicks and you see the path forward.
And the key message here seems to be about action, not just knowing things.
Absolutely. The playbook is very clear. It's not about what you know, it's about the results that show.
Yeah.
The instruction is basically keep learning and implementing until the results show and then rinse and repeat. Resilience isn't about never having headaches or realization aches. It's about sticking with that cycle until you get the AHA over and over.
You institutionalize the learning loop, essentially.
You got it. Persistent action, despite the temporary discomfort. That's resilience in practice. Now, underpinning all these actions, there needs to be a really solid foundational mindset, a non-negotiable agreement with yourself. And that starts with a very simple but powerful statement from the sources. Success is a decision.
Right. It flips the whole thing. Resilience isn't just something you hope happens to you. It's a choice you make continuously.
And that decision hinges on taking ownership.
Radical ownership, yeah.
Yeah.
This is maybe the toughest but most critical statement for building resilience.
Yeah.
Your life is your responsibility.
That one can be hard to swallow, especially if things are going badly. It says, if you're broke, that is your responsibility. That's potentially confronting.
It is confronting, no doubt. But the way the blueprint frames it is actually empowering. Think about the alternative. If you believe your life is totally controlled by external stuff, the economy, luck, other people, then you're powerless. You can't change anything.
Yeah.
But if you accept full responsibility, even for the bad stuff, well, you also claim full power over those stuff. You wouldn't actually want your success to depend on things you can't control, would you? Real resilience, true agency, it starts with accepting that responsibility.
Okay, I see the empowerment angle. It puts you back in the driver's seat, even if the situation is tough.
Exactly. And accepting this responsibility, it immediately tackles one of the most common excuses people have.
Which is?
I don't have the resources. Lack of money, lack of time. Source materials blunt about this. It's never the lack of resources. It is only ever the lack of resourcefulness and desire.
Ooh. So it's not about what you have.
Shout out to Master Shri Akashna, because that's where I learned this from.
Clever and determined you are in using what you have or finding what you need.
Precisely. The focus shifts entirely to your internal problem-solving skills, your ingenuity, your drive. Resilient people find ways. They get resourceful.
And that leads to another one of those uncompromising statements. Reasons or results. There's no room for both.
Yeah.
Another Master
Stark,
Akashna.
isn't it? You can spend your energy users explaining why things aren't working, or you can spend that same energy figuring out how to get the results. You can't really do both effectively. Choose one.
Yes.
Resilience means choosing results.
Okay, so success is a decision. Take responsibility. Be resourceful. Choose results over reasons. These are the bedrock principles.
Absolutely. Once you've truly adopted those, well, the next layer for building deep, lasting resilience involves your identity.
An identity shift,
Right.
right? The idea that you can't achieve, say, millionaire status while still thinking and acting like your current self.
Correct. The blueprint pushes you to consciously shift your identity. You need to define your current identity, how you see yourself now, and then clearly visualize and step into your new millionaire identity or whatever your big goal requires. How does that future version of you think, act, decide?
And shifting identity isn't just pretending, is it? It means changing deep beliefs.
Exactly. It requires digging up and changing those core,
Okay, I'm just
often
gonna pause it here for a second. I don't know about you, but I really love this. I'm just like so impressed. Like what it's just so nice because they're explaining it slightly differently in a lot of ways, but also like obviously very much as it is intended. But I really love the way how it is discussed. I love it.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, to our people who are here watching, commenting, thank you guys so much for being here. What do you guys think about this podcast so far? I love it. But Josie, you are about to say something.
Yeah, I really love how they're summarizing, because obviously everyone that comes to the event is going to hear it in a different way. They're going to hear different things depending on where they're at. But yeah, they might have some different ideas about the concepts, but it's really cool. And what they were just saying just then is so true. I actually wrote it down to make a point on it. Is you can't expect a new life while having old habits and old patterns. Like you can't.
All thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. There's just no way, and that's the identity shift that we speak about. This life, this vision that you see for yourself, that person is doing different things on the daily basis to what you're doing. That's why they're there and you're here. And when I say they, I mean the future you, who's going to get there. So yeah, you can't make a new life with old patterns. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I want to say shout out to Andrea, Kika. Thank you guys so much for being here and actively commenting. And I hope you guys are enjoying listening to this as much as we are, because it was just like, again, this morning when I got sent this, I was just like, so awesome. So if anybody has any idea who are those podcasters, let me know in the chat box. There's a hint in the description. But let's carry on listening. And they're actually about to go into a really cool exercise. I've learned this exercise as we discussed in the event from T. Harv Eker and Success Resources. But they're describing it in a really, really lovely way. Again, it's stuff we know, but they're explaining it really nicely. So let's carry on listening. Like only 5 more minutes from this particular clip that I got sent. And then we're going to wrap this up. And everybody should come to Project 1 Million, by the way. If you haven't been there, or you haven't been there in a while, or you have been there in a while, but you want to take it to another level, we're going to have the biggest one yet as a Christmas edition in December. We are giving away free tickets. So if you are not part of it yet, get yourself a free space on the next Project 1 Million. Project 1 Million. Josie, you say the link.
Project1million.com/Josie.
You said it wrong too. Project 1 Million in 1 year.com Josie. And then
I was so confident too.
Yeah, me too. And I've said it wrong 5 million times already. So
it's down there.
1 million in 1 year.com Josie. All right, let's hit the final bits of this clip.
Digging up and changing those core, often subconscious beliefs that keep your current identity locked in place. Beliefs about money, about time, maybe even about rich people. Things that might be holding you back without you even realizing it. The sources actually give a 4-step process for this.
Let's walk through that, because this sounds like the really deep work for resilience. Step 1.
Step 1. Ask yourself, what are the very first thoughts or feelings that pop up when you hear a trigger word? Let's use money as the example. Is it stress, scarcity, greed, opportunity?
Okay, identify the immediate association. Step 2.
Step 2. Where did that thought or feeling actually come from? Who gave it to you? Parents, teachers, society, media. Trace its origin.
Got it. Trace the root. Step 3.
Step 3 is crucial for intellectual resilience. Ask yourself, is that belief 100% true for you right now? Does it hold up to objective scrutiny in your actual life?
Challenge its validity. And the final step, 4.
Step 4. If it's not 100% true, and most limiting beliefs aren't, when you really look at them, then what is your new truth? What's a proactive, empowering belief you choose to install instead? Resilience here means actively rewriting your internal programming to match who you're deciding to become.
Wow, that's a powerful framework. So you're editing your own operating system.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
And that new identity, that new set of beliefs, it needs an anchor, a really powerful why.
The why. You need to define your 2.0 future, right? Across different areas, not just money, health, wealth, relationships, spirituality. Why is that broad vision so important for resilience?
Because the challenges will come. That momentum curve.
Yeah.
It'll dip sometimes. That little voice, it'll get loud again. You'll hit those realization aches. Your why, that vivid picture of the future you're building, has to be so compelling, so meaningful, that it gives you the strength to, as the playbook says, run through walls when things get tough. It's the anchor that stops you from quitting.
It fuels the persistence.
Exactly. And finally, just bringing it all back to the practical side, the sources mention Warren Buffett's big rule of investing, repeated 5 times apparently. Don't lose your money.
Right, don't lose your money, don't lose your money.
Yeah, they really hammer it home. And it leads to the question, what's the one investment where you absolutely cannot lose your principal.
Ah, I see where this is going. Yourself.
Yourself. Investing in your knowledge, your skills, your mindset, your resilience. That's the only asset that grows without being subject to market crashes or external risks. It's always yours.
And that ties into the final affirmation mentioned. I value myself for the diamond that I am.
It's that core self-worth. That's the ultimate resilient foundation. It lets you move forward, take calculated risks, knowing that even if an external venture doesn't pan out, the you that emerges, the knowledge, the experience, the stronger identity, that's the real gain, and it's secure.
Okay, so let's recap the core mental strategies for resilience we've pulled from this blueprint for you, the listener. It starts with that mental drill. Diffuse the little voice by visiting rock bottom. Then you have to reframe failure. It's just testing. You must actively choose results over reasons, take full responsibility, and proactively shift your identity to align with your goals.
And if you've done that deep internal work, the playbook offers one last really provocative thought. It's like the final decision-making tool for applying all this resilience you've built. It's the risk versus reward assessment.
Simple questions, I assume?
Very simple. One, what's the absolute worst that can happen if you pursue this opportunity?
Exactly.
Be honest, use that rock bottom thinking. Two, what's the absolute best that can happen? Dream big, visualize that 2.0 future.
Okay, worst case
Shout out
versus
to
best
Master
case.
Kashna as well.
And the rule.
The rule is the ultimate expression of applied resilience. If the best possible outcome massively outweighs the worst possible outcome, then you move forward. No hesitation. Your mental work has already defused the fear. Now you act on the potential, that ratio. That's your green light.
Yes.
That's it. That's the
Wow.
I was going to shout out to this podcast. Wahoo!
Yeah.
It's not even the full part of it, but I just liked it so much. And one of you have guessed what kind of podcast this was. But I was just like so amazed. And like when David sent this to me this morning, I was listening to it and I was just like, this sounds cool. And like, it sounds like someone has done something similar. And then I started talking about the actual words and principles of our book. And I was just like, what the heck? This is a podcast about our book. It's like, what? So yeah, I'm just amazed and I'm excited, but it's really nice. And also like the way how some of the stuff is interpreted differently, but it's still extremely empowering is so nice. So let me tell you, this is going to be awesome. Again, I cannot wait for the next Project 1 Million, but I also cannot wait to hear the rest of this podcast, which I am going to look for to see where this podcast can be found. And again, one of you have guessed it. It's in the comments. But that being said, Josie, you take it away. You tell these people how they can know more, what they need to do, and then we'll take them to the end of this video.
Let's take them to the end of this video. Yes, I love this. And a big thing that's especially been on my mind recently that they touched on too is this stuff takes practice and resilience and time and going through things that you don't want to go through and sticking with it. And that's exactly what I love about Project 1 Million is it makes it really actually tangible. It's nice to say, okay, freedom lifestyle, Project 1 Million, making money online, see it and you can achieve it. That's good. And that's all very true and amazing. But what I love about Project 1 Million is it gives you actual steps and actual things to move towards it. You're not just in this excitement phase of, okay, that's exciting. How do I get there? Like a motivated idiot. Yeah, exactly. Like you say, you're motivated, but you don't know how to get there. Project 1 Million does that for you. And by the end of the 5 days, if you let it, this event can change your life. So that's why I really need everyone to be there and experience it at least one time. But the more the merrier. At least, yeah, absolutely. Every time. I mean, this is the thing. I've been to every single Project 1 Million, which is what I don't even know how many that is now, and I'm still learning things. I'm still hearing things that I haven't before, hearing it in a different way, and I've been to every single one. So unless you've been to every single one, come again.
Absolutely. I love it. A big hoo-ha-hoo for Josie and a big hoo-ha-hoo again for our amazing people that are watching right now. Shout out to the commenters, Tony, Kika, and Andrea. And I also want to say another thing. We really are so determined with this podcast to, again, make it really incredibly powerful and practical and impactful to your life. So if you guys have any topics that you want us to cover, please let us know. Please comment it below or send a message to either Josie or to me. You can reach Josie at josie@tjibaria.com, and you can reach me at tjibaria.com or any of the social platforms that we are at. And we just really, really, really want to make this about you guys. So please do let us know what are topics you want us to discuss, and we will make sure to discuss them. Now, that being said, take them away.
Yes, make sure if you haven't already, click that link below, and pretty please, because we want to be able to help as many people as we can, but we need your help to be able to do that. Click that subscribe button, click the little bell, give this video a like so we can be pushed out to more people, get more people on this journey, and make the world a better place. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.
See you. Bye-bye.